When it comes to modding Age of Empires 2, I generally recommend people two videos. One by Zetnus, which shows you how to set up Advanced Genie Editor, the main tool you will use in order to modify unit stats and abilities and such, as well as this video from Age of Empires Coach, which is fairly long, but it does go through the process of showing you how to make a lot of changes and helps you get your bearing on how the ID system of the Advanced Genie Editor works. However, it's been brought to my attention due to community Discord on the servers I browse that there aren't a lot of tutorials that cover how to add new units to Age of Empires 2. As a general disclaimer, Advanced Genie Editor has a lot of ways they do that. As you can probably imagine, regional units are coded differently from specific upgrades. However, there is a very common way units are added into Age of Empires 2, and that takes place at the castle. Every single civilization has one method used over and over again in order to add a unique unit. And that's what I'm going to help you replicate. So first off, I'm going to need two environments. One of them's pretty easy to find. Go where you're to the folder where you've installed Age of Empires 2. If you're on Steam, you can just go to the browse local files. And the second place is a bit more in depth. You need to find your modding folder. Now, rather than guiding you through the process of finding said folder, we're simply going to cheat. If you go into your modding folder and click on any of your active or inactive mods, you can simply click the Open Directory button right here. Now, this directory is for installed mods. What you and I are going to want is local mods because you want to test out that your changes work. So let's go back a little bit into the mods folder, and you will see that you have a local folder right there. Now that we're here, let's create a new local mod. First off, let's give it a name. I need to figure out what do I want to use as an example for this. There is that cataphract in the editor. What was it called again? There you are. Not quite sure how to pronounce this one, but let's stick with Sogdian for now. Maybe it's Sogdian. That feels more accurate. Either way, let's name our folder Sogdian Cataphract, or name it whatever you want. Now, we're going to replicate the path to a certain file. As you can see on the right, I'm recreating the resource file. And in that, I'm going to create a new folder, that folder belonging to underscore common. And then within that folder, I'm going to create a dat folder. Because into that folder is where most of the data concerning unit stats and such exists, which you should know that if you follow the other video tutorials. But for the purpose of creating a mod, we're going to copy over the Empires to X2 P1 folder because I am not making changes to the main folder. That's how you brick your game. We're going to make changes to our little local mod, and if it works and you're happy with it, you can upload it yourself to the Age of Empires 2 website and make it official. Now it will access Advanced Genie Editor from the Tools Builds forum within the installed folder of Age of Empires 2. Uh, to configure all of this data, check the first video under the description. The only thing I'm changing right now is I'm going to make the compressed dataset link aimed to the new folder I created. And with all that said, we should be good to go. So, as you can see, EH has a lot of tabs, but the one that we're concerned with is the tech tabs, the effect tabs, and the unit tabs. The text tab is used to enable effects and determine which civilization will benefit from them. The effects tab in this case will help us enable the new cataphract to be recruitable. We will be using the cataphract as a template because they share a name. So it'll make things rather intuitive for me to just make this. We'll use the filters on the tab in order to look up for cataphracts. And you can see here that this technology called cataphract make available calls an effect numbered 264. Let's take a look at what this effect actually does. And on the right side, all this thing does is enable the unit cataphract. So let's find our little campaign cataphract. The Sogdian cataphract appears twice, which is confusing, but we're going to be using 1299, and the reason we're going to use that, I'm going to give this one for you guys for free. If you scroll a little downwards, the only real difference between those two is that the 932 cataphract has that tick box called hide in editor. So we're just going to use the 1299, which is visible, in case you ever want to test your changes in the map editor, which is something you can do. But now that we roughly know what we want to do, we're going to start by copying the cataphract tech. I'm going to remove that filter to stop any user errors. I'm going to add a new line, and then I'm going to copy over it. But of course, we're not trying to re-enable the cataphract. We're trying to enable 1299, the Sogdian cataphract. And just to make things clearer, we're also going to rename the effect name to be more accurate. With that out of the way, we now have an effect we want to use, but now we also need to tell the game to enable it for the Byzantine. So like we did with the cataphract, we're going to take the existing technology, copy it, add a new line, and paste over it. For the effect side, it's actually kind of easy because we literally just have to scroll down and pick the last effect, which is the one we created for this. With the changes done, we will now save the game, which you can see. You can double check there that it's saving in your local folder, and we should be good to go. Let's start off our game. I'm going to do a quick little skirmish to test this out in the Regicide mode because we're trying to enable him at the castle, and Regicide gives you one for free. And as you can see now, when I click the castle, it's not there. I seem to have forgotten something. Let's go back into Advanced Genie Editor one more time. But this time we'll pay more attention to the Unit tab. The Unit tab actually configures a lot more about the unit than you would expect. Yes, it configures the tooltips and text. Yes, it configures the hit point, the attack, the armor. But if you scroll far enough down, you'll see that it also configures its cost. And more importantly, its train location. Currently, it's set to none. For comparison, if we were to check into the cataphracts, you'll see that its train location is in the castle and its train button is 1. Now, I'm not trying to override the cataphracts. So for that reason, I'm going to set the train location as the castle with the train button 4. As an aside, the units tab also contains all the buildings. If you were to filter up there by 82, you would actually see the castle. Now let's start the game one more time. Keep the same parameters as before. Make sure you selected your mod before you started the map. And there it is. Now, obviously, as you can figure out, you can probably move this unit to other buildings should you want to. Um, but that goes beyond the purpose of this video. Have fun modding and leave a like if it's been helpful. Leave a comment if you think there's something I've missed. Not promising I'll answer, but I probably will eventually.